At what point in your career were you like, you know what? I'm going to go stand on a stage and tell people about things. Like, how did you get into speaking?
Well, that was a really interesting thing because I didn't really mean to. I was working with HP and I'd put together a bunch of um, technical presentation material for an executive who was going to be presenting at the HP OpenView forum years ago. And he missed his flight. And I was the only one there who knew the content because I put most of the content together. So I got put on stage at the OpenView forum for a little sub keynote with 10,000 people or so in the audience, and I was miserable going out there and doing it. I'd never done it before. I never presented to more than 5 or 6 people in a room, and I was literally presenting at a massive stadium. And
Wow.
I was miserable. I got through it. People clapped, so it didn't totally suck. And then I literally walked off stage, went backstage, took my undershirt off and wrung it out from the sweat. But you know what? Because I was so nervous, right? And then after that, I really got to where I enjoyed it. And every chance I got since then, I've probably presented, well, hell, if you Google me, you can probably find 30 or 40, but I've probably presented at several hundred events over the years. Anytime I get a chance to talk about something that I'm interested in, I'll go and do. Matter of fact, I'm flying to Australia again to present at a conference down there in a couple of weeks. Spend a couple of days down there, do a presentation, and turn around flying back because it's an interesting audience and a great topic. And I've been invited to do one in China later this year. I'm probably going to fly over and do that too. So,
What's interesting is while you were telling that story, because I don't have that like story on my notes. I didn't read about it or anything. But
yeah.
my producer Jake, he's on the other side of the table here. His eyes got so big because my story that I told on the podcast before, the way I got my first speaking gig was in New York City, missed flight. The guy, I was in the group and the individual missed his flight, and they're like, "Hey, Joel, you know about user experience, user design, which is not my specialty. It's just something that I am a little geeky about. So
Right.
you know how it works, right? It doesn't have to be your specialty, the one thing everyone knows you for you to know a lot about it, right? So
Right. Of course.
I was like, yeah, I mean, I'll get up. It wasn't 10,000 people. It was like 800 people. But for my first one, I was pretty excited about it.
Yeah. No,
Man, we have a similar story.
when you get thrown into the fire early, everything else gets easier.
Well, yeah, I had no time to think about it.
Yeah.
They're like, you can just go up there and talk, make some bullet points and talk about user experience, user design. And I was like, all right. So I just went up there and I just said, I sat there on my notepad and I said, all right, 3 things. Here's like what not to do. And then I go out onto the stage, right, to read my 3 things. And I had a real quick like slide thing put together too, like a real quick keynote thing of just like my name, like the 3 bullet points, what not to do, right? And I go to use the clicker and the clicker doesn't work, right? It's like not synced, it's like not working. And then like the first things out of my mouth was like, this is a technology conference. I was like, does anyone know how to work this? And like everybody laughed. I didn't even mean for that to happen. And that just broke the ice. And then it was just like it just flowed. Like it was so easy.
Yeah.
And it felt so good afterwards.
Oh yeah, well, me too. Like I said, it was not intentional, but when it happened, it inspired me to do it any chance I get.